What's up guys, Omni here. You guys know how it goes, another day, another video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topic, tweets, videos you want me to talk about tomorrow? We have a lot of news to talk about today, but first I want to tell you about this huge, massive winter storm that is completely ravaging the United States right now. If you guys didn't know, there's a huge winter storm that's currently impacting large portions of the United States, bringing a mix of severe weather conditions including tornadoes, high winds, heavy windfall, and even blizzard-like snowstorms. Here are the places that have been impacted or are currently about to be impacted. The storm system began affecting the southern plains on March 3rd, 2025. The setup led to severe weather across Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana, including at least 4 confirmed tornadoes. In Texas, the damage has already been done. Over 400,000 power outages were reported in the north of Texas. Oklahoma, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama have all been hit as well. And the Midwest are facing actual blizzard conditions, specifically in Nebraska, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, leading to hazardous travel and road closures. As of today and moving into a little bit tomorrow, the storm is actually hitting me. If you live in Virginia or Maryland or in the Carolinas, the storm is now circulating this area and should be floating off sometime and tapering until tomorrow. That's right, in North Carolina and some of the mid-Atlantic states, we're talking about tornadoes and heavy rains and winds up to 50 miles per hour. I usually say this for the end of the video, but stay safe out on these streets because these streets are literally not safe. Like, get inside, get indoors, okay? The weather is really bad. But guys, this is an absolute huge deal, okay? YouTube is making those changes that basically destroy its creators, and this one might be one of the biggest ones we've seen in a very long time. Great players saying YouTube has made new changes to how they display ads and hurting many YouTubers now. It's quite concerning. Doing a video over here by my guy 8-Bit Ryan. A lot of YouTubers that I've been talking to in the space in the background have been very freaking concerned about this new YouTube update, and it might destroy some people's channels and their way of living. This video by 8-Bit Ryan titled YouTube's newest changes could ruin my channel is a 14-minute video that I've already watched. I'll give you the quick TLDR, but a lot of YouTubers are also making similar videos because they are absolutely terrified by this new policy change. The TLDR is that YouTube is rolling out a very major change to its mid-roll ad system on May 12, 2025. That's 2 months from now. And as you've already seen from 8-Bit Ryan, it's already causing concerns amongst a lot of creators, especially in gaming and highly edited content. What this update does is it places ads at quote-unquote natural breakpoints, which are just like pauses and transitions, while avoiding placements that disrupt the viewing experience, such as mid-sentence or during high-action moments. On the surface, this sounds like an improvement, but in practice is proving to be disastrous for many creators. As you guys can imagine, a creator like me who just yaps the entire freaking time with little to no pauses or breaks or gives information, that could be pretty bad. Commentary type videos. The problem is that YouTube's new system struggles to find ad-friendly breakpoints in fast-paced, highly edited videos, where creators intentionally remove dead air to keep the content engaging. This means YouTube may place fewer mid-rolls or in some cases none at all, significantly reducing ad revenue. In fact, some YouTubers have already reported a 25% drop in earnings, with fears that this could force them to downsize their teams or even reconsider YouTube as a career as a whole. Another problem that YouTube content creators are talking about is that they're manually trying to put ads in places where there is no disruption and YouTube's system is still telling them that it's interruptive. The irony is that those who leave in more boring moments like silences or slow sections might now be rewarded with more ad placements, discouraging high-effort editing. Ultimately, this change could reshape how content is made on YouTube, potentially favoring long, unedited videos while making it harder for channels that rely on polished, high-quality edits to survive. A lot of creators are frustrated not just because of the loss of income, but because it feels like YouTube is punishing them for putting effort into their videos. If YouTube doesn't address these concerns, it could severely impact gaming content, discourage high-effort production, and make it even harder for up-and-coming creators to grow. That's the TLDR of the video. You'll probably be seeing a lot more of these videos where content creators are talking about how screwed they are. However, I did see that there was a post by the official YouTube liaison. Okay, this is the guy that basically lets people know what YouTube is doing. All the good and bad policies, usually bad. It starts off with this post by this guy named Grizzy. There's been many posts like this, by the way, that said this might be one of the dumbest things YouTube has ever implemented. How are you meant to avoid interruptive slots with an algorithm that was designed to keep viewers' attention as much as possible? 4 freaking question marks. And of course, yet another bot determines whether or not the ad slot is interruptive, and a lot of people are getting this thing that says ad slots won't show ads. Move the ad slot to a natural breakpoint in your video like a scene transition. Mid-roll ads will no longer show in interruptive slots starting May 12, 2025. This is also retrospective. So videos going backwards, if you didn't edit that bad boy properly, you ain't making money off of it. This is going to really hurt evergreen videos. That's right. If you're a YouTuber, you're just now watching this video, you're just now hearing about that, your entire freaking catalog of videos will be impacted by this change. And if you've edited your videos in such a high polished way where there's no interruptions, well, then you will probably lose out on significant amounts of revenue. So the actual team YouTube replied to this and said, thanks for the feedback. Totally hear you. We're seeing this issue for some creators and are investigating it further. Sent you a DM as well so we can learn more from you. No! Don't talk to us like that, YouTube. Okay, this is a problem. This is an issue, bro. Don't give me that freaking operator feedback, bro. You are messing with the entire economy that is YouTube and its creators, bro. Like, this one simple tiny change can destroy lots of channels and make it so that other channels don't grow at all. So like I said, YouTube liaison, he responded and said, hey, for those asking about mid-rolls, more to come. So a non-answer. I'm going to keep you guys posted if there's anything here, but this is one of those situations where a lot of YouTubers are going to be very outspoken about this change, because if we don't speak out against it and tell YouTube not to do it, then they will. And then a lot of people will be screwed over, because once it's in, it's going to be hard to get taken out. So a lot of people are going to be trying to stop this before it gets implemented in May. In case you're wondering what it probably looks like on the back end, on the admin side, this guy said, hoping for the best. The future looks very scary. And as you can see here, ad slot, interruptive. Okay, that's taking away your money. It's gone. Zero, zilch, nada. So if you're a YouTuber, or if you know any YouTubers, okay, share this video with them so they can know what's happening. And again, I'll keep you guys updated. I do have a contact at YouTube that can let me know if there's going to be any changes to this system before it gets implemented, and if there's anything that people need to do to kind of prevent themselves from being impacted on such a wide scale. Guys, less than 12 hours ago, China said this, okay, just without context, listen to this statement. If war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. Hello? What do you mean wars? What do you mean by that, China? That's right, guys. Welcome to the politics update. I'm gonna let you guys know if World War III is incoming or not. There's only been 2 days since we have not been talking about politics, and a lot has piled up. So I'll give you guys a quick TLDR of everything you need to know, all of the policy changes, the whole thing that's happening with these trade wars, some of the executive orders that got pushed. Let me just give you guys a quick update in case you might have missed out on any kind of political news in the past 2 days. Starting with tariffs and the trade wars. That's right. We had this conversation about a month ago, okay, where we talked about how President Trump was implementing these tariffs on specifically Canada and Mexico and China and the rest of the world as well, in the form of reciprocal tariffs. The tariffs that are supposed to be taking place are at least 20 to 25% in most of these places, and even higher in other places as well, as President Donald Trump has said that he feels like the system is currently unfair when it comes to America, suggesting that we've been paying way too much money in taxes and tariffs in other countries, and now other countries are going to have to do the same thing when it comes to us. This is going to raise the prices of the actual consumers. You at home, things are about to get more expensive. As I said yesterday, President Donald Trump implemented significant tariffs affecting imports from Canada, Mexico, and China specifically. Here's a very detailed overview. Specifically, the tariffs that are being imposed on Canada and Mexico are supposed to be 25% tariffs levied on all goods imported from Canada and Mexico. Not specific ones, all goods. And when it comes to China, an initial 10% tariff on Chinese imports imposed in February has now been increased to 20%. In terms of the industries that are being impacted, the automotive industry is taking a very large hit because the tariffs on Canada and Mexico significantly affect the cost of cars. This reporter from Fox News went to a dealership to talk about what's happening here when it comes to the price of the cars. And guys, when you watch this clip and hear how pissed off he is and how much the price of cars is increasing, it will pretty much blow your mind.
So Jeep, Dodge, Ram.
Yeah.
Impact.
Dramatic. I sold order for a customer. $80,000 truck. It's $100,000 now. So he's not going to buy the truck. It's going to sit on my lot at the higher interest rates we're paying right now for floor plan, and nobody's going to buy the truck because it just had a $20,000 price increase.
What? This man said he had a truck that was worth $80K that's now been increased by 20%? Are you freaking kidding me? And he said that when he said, how do you feel about it? He said traumatic at first before saying dramatic, but both traumatic and dramatic.
Kelley Blue Book will put the number up. They say the average vehicle will go up by about $3,000. Does it sound right to you?
No, it will not. We don't have the broad stroke. We don't have the linear, the tight strokes. But to me, it's a 25% tariff. So that affects our parts that come from over these countries. And a whole bunch of our cars.
No tariff on the German cars coming in now.
No, they're
Japanese.
They're going to be okay, but think about it. We built our business around that. The OEMs built their business around that, and now it changes on a dime, and we can't build a $4 billion plant overnight in the United States. So I think building in the United States is great. I think enhancing the participation from the other countries on the other things, but this is pretty radical.
I hear you. There you go, Maria, where the rubber meets the road here.
All right.
Where the rubber meets the road here. Bro said, look, I have a model and a plan where I get my imports from these specific countries. And when you do this, it will impact me ginormously. Okay. And I don't have the money to sit here and build a plant to get get all the materials in the United States. I don't got that. And that's going to go for a lot of people in the industry as well.
But you know what? Let me ask you this, okay?
Yes.
How many Dodge Rams do you see driving around Europe? Okay. How many Dodge Rams do you see driving around India? I mean, not many, I bet. Why? Because they don't buy our cars. And that's what President Trump is trying to change. Maybe Dodge should start building them here and selling them here.
I'm just pausing for ad revenue. This is the part where I'm actually, if you guys do want to support the channel, okay, you got a couple extra bucks lying around. Patreon.com/InfernoOmni. I would be very grateful for you guys to keep me afloat during these really tough times. I mean this quite literally. I've actually not been taking a lot of sponsors recently because I've been trying to rearrange how we do things on this channel to make things a better viewing experience for you guys. I am a little bit concerned, however, when it comes to this whole revenue change because, again, I am a professional yapper. So if you guys do have a few spare bucks lying around and you want to come through the Patreon, that would be really cool to help me keep me afloat so that I can keep making videos for you guys. I'm telling you right now, I've already felt the damage. It's already been done. Now back to the tariffs. Another industry that's being impacted is agriculture, specifically because of China's retaliatory tariffs, which will be in effect March 10th, which is 5 days from now. There will now be 15% tariffs on US chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton, and then 10% tariffs on U.S. sorghum, soybeans, pork, beef, seafood, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. A retaliatory tariff is saying, hey, if you raise your prices, then I'm raising mine. And if I raise mine, then I'm raising yours. Okay, it's just costing everything for people to go up more, right? That's what the trade wars is. And that's why it's I would say terrifying. That's why they call it an actual war, because it will impact everybody in the entire country when these things happen. An analysis suggests that these tariffs could cause the average American household an additional $800 yearly at a very bare minimum. This is even before all of the retaliatory tariffs. And the S&P has now completely reverted to what it was before Trump was in office, at an all-time low since then. The president of Canada, Justin Trudeau, had this to say when it came to the tariffs, and he did not mince words.
The United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time.
So yeah, as you guys can see, it's going down.
Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk, at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes, and everything in between. They've chosen to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs to grow and prosper.
Trudeau basically saying, yo, we got the things that you need and we've been giving it to you, you know, and now it's going to stop. It's going to be way more expensive, bro. Like, what are you going to do with your wallets? I hope you have some money saved or you've budgeted because you're going to feel this in your wallet.
There is absolutely no justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today. Now, the legal pretext your government is using to bring in these tariffs is that Canada is apparently unwilling to help in the fight against illegal fentanyl. Well, that is totally false. Let's look at the facts. Our border is already safe and secure. Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada. But we acted because we know we can always do better.
Okay, so I just want to make things very clear. He just called Donald Trump a liar. The reason why, and the point that Donald Trump has been saying is the whole reason why for this border control and these tariffs is because they're trying to stop the influx of fentanyl from both Mexico and Canada. That's been the statement that they've been saying over and over, that this fentanyl, that this drug that is getting poured into the United States, and I don't know what the amounts are technically, because I keep hearing different versions of how much fentanyl is being funneled into the United States. But it seems to be a very strong point that the president has been pushing as to why they need these borders and also as to why they're starting these tariffs as well. And lastly, let's get to the end of the speech, okay, where Justin Trudeau decides to speak directly to President Donald Trump, okay, calls him out face to face.
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
Damn, Donald. Donald ain't going to take that. He called him Donald. You know what? I actually forgot his name is Donald. Now that I think about it, I've never heard someone just say, hey, Donald, you know, like I'm always hear Trump, President Trump, or Donald Trump. Like his first name is just Donald Trump, but his name is just Donald. And he said, yo, you think what you're doing is smart, but it's really dumb. He called the government in the United States and Donald a liar. And he also said that he is dumb. That's great. And they're supposed to be some of our biggest allies. Justin Trudeau is not holding back. Now, to be fair, if it's not the fentanyl, okay, what exactly is Donald Trump planning? Okay, what are the reasons why he's doing this? One of the arguments is that he's addressing a lot of the trade imbalances, like I mentioned before. Tariffs are basically viewed as a tool to rectify long-standing trade deficits that the U.S. has experienced with countries like, again, Canada, Mexico, and China. And by imposing these tariffs, the administration aims to encourage domestic production and reduce the reliance on foreign goods. Supporters also argue that tariffs can shield U.S. industries from unfair competition, particularly when other countries engage in practices like dumping products at below market prices or providing subsidies to their industries. Think Temu, we mentioned that a month ago, where they were basically evading a lot of taxes by essentially lowering the prices of how much things cost. Essentially, people who support the tariffs are saying that this is a necessary burn for the United States in order for them to be good again, and that in the temporary, we're going to have to rebuild everything from the inside out and kind of block the outside world so that we can be sufficient enough to take care of our own economy without relying on the rest of the world. Will that work? I have no idea. This is the first time that I've seen tariffs being used in this way, I think, in my entire lifetime. And it seems to be escalating. However, there is an update as of this morning. From Unusual Wells and other news sources as well said that President Donald Trump is set to announce changes to the tariffs on Canada and Mexico this afternoon as he considers rolling back the rate on sectors like autos, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has said. So we might go back to no tariffs. I'll wrap up the politics segments with a few more things that you kind of need to know that have been happening for the past 2 days. This one is absolutely freaking huge for any of you guys who are protesters. Donald Trump had actually said this on the Truth Social, saying that all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protest. The agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No mask. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This man said no more protest, and I don't know what the word illegal protest mean, but my guess is that anything can be deemed illegal if certain people say it. Someone says, yeah, this is an illegal protest, they going to get you. No mask as well, which means you can't hide your identity and be anonymous. Yeah, that's a pretty big move. People are saying that the verbiage of this is general enough to basically dissuade colleges from allowing students to do protest in the first place, because no college wants to stop receiving federal funding, right? They're not going to risk receiving federal funding. Therefore, they're just not going to allow the protest, whether it's legal or illegal. They're just gonna be like, nah, dog, we not messing with this. A lot of people are trying to figure out the word illegal. Okay, they want to know, what does an illegal protest actually constitute, and is it possible that, you know, President Donald Trump or anybody in force can basically, you know, sway that line of legality? A legal protest is a demonstration that follows the laws and regulations set by a government. In most democratic countries, people have the right to assemble and protest, but they often need to meet specific requirements to ensure public safety and order. However, a protest becomes illegal when it violates the laws, when it disrupts public order, or it goes against those specific certain legal restrictions. What constitutes a protest as being illegal is if a protest is held in a place where a permit is required but it was not obtained. That would be unlawful. Also, protesting on private property without permission, like blocking roads, government buildings, or businesses in a way that prevents their function. Also, what's illegal is if a protest turns violent, involves vandalism, arson, looting, or physical harm to others, it crosses into illegal territory. It's also illegal when there's unplanned roadblocks that disrupt emergency services or interfering with critical infrastructure like airports or hospitals. Some people feel like this is breaking into the First Amendment. It's a slippery slope that could turn the First Amendment to being challenged when it comes to freedom of speech, suggesting this could be a potential move that could be unconstitutional. Also, this is an update from the whole Zelenskyy Trump thing. Remember when Zelenskyy got kicked out of the freaking White House because they had that fight? That was really uncomfortable to watch. Well, apparently 2 days ago, the United States basically paused all current military aid to Ukraine. Essentially, the U.S. is suspending all ongoing military assistance to Ukraine until Trump determines that the country's leadership shows a genuine commitment to peace, according to the senior Defense Department official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private matters. Not even a day later, Zelenskyy made this tweet here, said, "I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. None of us wants an endless war. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast to end the war, and the first stages could be the release of prisoners and truce in the sky, ban on missiles, long-range drones, bombs on energy and other civilian infrastructure, and truce in the sea immediately if Russia will do the same. Then we will want to move very fast through all the next stages and to work with the US to agree a strong final deal." Ending and saying, "We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence, and we've remembered the moment when things changed when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this." Zelenskyy saying thank you. Hey, remember when JD Vance said, "You didn't say thank you. You're not saying thank you." Zelenskyy saying, "I appreciate it. Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation and communication to be constructive. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it anytime and any convenient formats. We see this agreement as a step toward greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively." So when he says he's ready to sign the agreement, I don't know the specifics or the details, but the biggest point was the security guarantees. Zelenskyy was basically saying, hey, we need some type of guarantee that if Russia decides to break the peace treaty or the ceasefire, that something will happen, that we will be okay. Trump suggesting that, hey, if we have United States forces in your country, digging your rare minerals, then that will stop Russia from going there and bombing you, because you'll have more of a United States presence in your country. But on the other end, we are extracting you of your real minerals and earth. So they're trying to figure out what's going to be best for everyone. And Ukraine, unfortunately, not in the best position when it comes to, you know, being invaded by Russia. No one would be in a good position if they're being invaded by Russia. Last but not least, we need to talk about the federal workers, okay? The disassembling of the government, okay? There are layoffs going into the hundreds of thousands, one of which now is including the IRS. Over the past week, there are plans that are underway to reduce the 90,000 strong workforce by half through layoffs, attrition, and buyouts. Some employees may be reassigned to the Department of Homeland Security to bolster immigration enforcement, but a lot of these people will be laid off. The GSA, also known as the General Services Administration, has also faced layoffs where approximately 40% of the employees were terminated following a return to office mandate. A specific unit known for developing software to enhance government services was entirely eliminated. You have the Department of Veterans Affairs, aka VA, where 2,400 veterans employed by the VA have been laid off in the past recent weeks, which then prompted protests and legal challenges from affected workers. And also the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA. Around 1,000 employees were abruptly terminated. This includes significant cuts at the National Hurricane Center and Storm Prediction Center, raising concerns about the agency's capacity to provide accurate weather forecasts. Now, this one is absolutely huge, okay? There's a lot going on right now when it comes to federal workers. A lot of people do not know if they're going to keep their jobs. The administration recently published a list of over 440 federal properties identified for potential sale, including prominent buildings such as the FBI headquarters and the Department of Justice main building. The specific move aims to reduce government spending and the federal workforce. So here's the catch-22 that a lot of people in the Fed are kind of facing right now, and is that if you remove these offices, then the question is where are you supposed to work? Because there is now a mandate where you're supposed to come in to work, because you're not allowed to work from home anymore. So if you can't work from home, but your office is getting sold, then the question is where will your office be relocated? Apparently the idea is to sell these leases and then create new ones in different parts of the United States, okay? So imagine you work in DC, and then someone says that building is getting sold, and also the new building is going to be in Ohio. And you're like, what? But I live in... Yeah, it's massive. And that's about it. You're all caught up. There was the whole president speech when it came to President Trump talking for like over an hour to Congress. It was a bit of a nothing burger. There was a few things that kind of happened. Like I think one of the senators stood up and got kicked out because he would not sit down and kept heckling the president. There was boos. There was USA chants. It was... It was a little bit theatrical, but Donald Trump essentially kind of saying what he's been doing for the past 100 days, all the executive orders that he's passed, talked about how they're trying to keep fentanyl out, how they're designating like Mexico as like cartels, and these people are as terrorists. What else? Every single thing that you can think of, they're trying to empower police officers. Just the same old, just kind of repeated, and also saying how much money he's been saving. Elon Musk was in there. They were talking about how Doge is saving billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. And then you had the Congress people on the Democrat side holding signs that were just kind of like not true, or Elon sucks, or like not specifically Elon sucks, but instead of being able to verbalize their dissent, they held up signs essentially saying that, yeah, what's being said is false. Bernie Sanders, I believe he just walked out of the entire building itself and was like during the mid-speech and said, I have a better speech, because he felt like a lot of what Trump was saying were lies. So yeah, no bipartisanship on there. One of the points that people made was that he was giving a special notice to a kid who had cancer, and it became an actual official secret FBI agent. And then nobody clamped on the Democratic side, kind of showing like, yeah, it's so bad in these Congress streets that they're not clapping for what people felt might have been performative in terms of honoring this kid as a secret agent of the FBI, of the Secret Service. It's not looking good. And Donald Trump had fun up there, by the way. He was poking fun at the Democrats and saying like, yeah, you guys kind of suck. You guys aren't going to celebrate me, or you never will acknowledge me, even if I found the cure for cancer. Meanwhile, Republicans were laughing it up. They were all good. They were happy. They were standing up and cheering from nonstop. Everybody there was like, yes, we're making America great again, and screw everybody else who's not on board. Anyway, that's the TLDR of it. And that's the end of today's video. Okay, I'll keep you guys with some more news and updates. I'll keep you posted with more politics, I swear, if you miss a day, you skip a day, then you miss out on everything, because that's just how fast things are moving right now. I love you guys, and stay safe on these streets, because these streets ain't safe from the weather and the politics and all this jazz. I love y'all. Y'all take it easy. Peace.